Hi, it's Taylor. Thanks for tuning in. Today's topic is about why being non-judgmental is a really bad idea. I don't know if you've heard the pressure to be non-judgmental as much as I have, being a professional mental health counselor and marriage and family therapist for 14 years. It was definitely beaten into my mind how important it was to be non-judgmental as a therapist. Now, I understand the intention and where it came from, but basically in practice and now in commonplace colloquial, I can't even say that word, colloquial layman's terms, it gets diluted and misconstrued and conflated with other things that it wasn't really intending to imply. And now people are actually trying to use it against us. And I'm no longer a practicing mental health professional. I am retired. I function solely as an online coach and consultant. And I'm making these videos to try to help re-educate people like you who maybe have been subtly brainwashed by a lot of ideas and concepts that have been popular in mainstream media, but also in our education system. So I've done a few videos about how academia has steered us in the wrong direction, or why would you want to be a therapist, or do you really want to be a therapist? Because there are a lot of things that you don't realize happen in academia in regards to the way that they educate you and steer your thinking for you. So a lot of these things are very subtle. It all boils down to what it means to be non-judgmental and what is the intention there. So really, when people say they're non-judgmental, what they mean is they don't prosecute or persecute people when they share their opinions or their lifestyles with them. So they're open-minded, they're tolerant, they perhaps are kind, compassionate people. They separate the person from their behavior and their choices. So they may not like, respect, or agree with their choices, but they don't mistreat the individual. They don't persecute the individual based on those differences. Now, obviously, a mental health professional or someone like that dealing with clients who maybe come from a different walk of life, they're meant to be non-judgmental so that the person feels accepted and that they feel welcome and comfortable talking about these very vulnerable issues. But at the same time, that's why people go to get help, or they should, so that they can get better. And in order to get better, you need to confront some opinion and judgments. That's why they say, get a second opinion. They don't say, get a second non-judgment. So I'm being a little bit humorous today because I think this topic is important, but I also think it's important to talk freely about it. So here I am. Now, I was talking with my men's coaching group today, actually this morning, and it came up because one of the things that I have my clients do is articulate their mission statement. And in this gentleman's mission statement, he said about knowledge. I think it was like a general theme about, being a good student and acquiring knowledge and having a growth mindset. And he said that he likes to have good interactions and conversations with people, but he wants to do so in a very open-minded and non-judgmental way. So I asked him a follow-up question for clarification. What does he mean by that? Because I don't think he means what it actually signifies when he says that. Because when you are interacting, and especially on a personal level, right? Like when you are meeting people, because I teach vetting, when you don't make judgments, you don't have standards, you don't have principles, you don't have values that you uphold and that you expect from people. And so when you don't have those judgments, you're basically very passive, you're a people pleaser, anything goes kind of thing. You have very loose boundaries, and people get away with whatever they want to because I'm not going to judge you for that. Now, that's not what he meant to say. What he meant to say was that I'm tolerant and understanding, and I can handle discussion and other viewpoints respectfully. And that is the difference. Treating someone like a human being and not, basically using that against them as if they're less than you. Now, you can hold your own opinion to yourself if it's unpleasant, but you're going to treat someone and interact with other people the way that they deserve, which is a free human being of equal rights, right? But ultimately, judgment in and of itself is a neutral concept. And so to have good judgment, you're going to be doing things that are constructive and productive. They're going to be meaningful, significant, and healthy. Now, when you have poor judgment, you're going to be doing things that are not good for you, that may be against the law, that are going to basically regress your behavior into something that is ineffective. So we want to be judgmental. Being judgmental is a good thing. If you don't admit that, you're lying to yourself. So clarify the terms that you use, the language that you use internally to yourself, but also with other people, needs to be clarified. And we need to understand what we're actually intending to say and what we're saying, because they may not add up. I can look at somebody and say, you're making poor choices about your health because you're overweight and you don't have like a medical reason for that. You are acting in your life very complacently. You're not watching your diet. You're not exercising. And basically, you're responsible for the state of your appearance and your health. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to treat this person poorly, that I'm going to disrespect them. And just saying that out loud, I might not say that to the person, but if we were to actually share judgments, that judgment in and of itself is not negative. That judgment is objective. It's true. It's a fact. And if I'm not mistreating a person based on my opinion or my observation of that person, then there's nothing wrong with that. So not actually judging that person would be looking at them and not coming to any conclusion about cause and effect, right? So if I were to go about, or you were to go about your day not making any judgments, you would never get anything done and nothing meaningful would happen. And there's no point to advocate for that, right? It doesn't make sense. It's just illogical. So remember that when you're thinking about defending yourself against being judgmental. Now, I think when that term is used, what it really means is you're a very hoity-toity type of person. You judge people a lot and you treat them poorly based on your judgments because you feel you're superior to them. Now, that's a little bit different because you don't want to treat your other people inhumanely, right? You don't want to treat other people as if you're better than them. Now, you might think you're making better choices than them, but to treat someone in a way that makes them feel inferior or communicates that you think they're inferior is not very tactful. So you want to get better at coming across that way if that is the way that people are interpreting your behavior in response to those judgments. So be kind, be compassionate, be polite. All those things are very, very important, but so are making judgments. You just want to make sure that you're making effective judgments, good judgments, and acting accordingly, So I hope that clears up the difference between judgmentalness and being persecutory, because those are totally different. We want to focus on tolerance. Tolerance is a word that is a good, effective, constructive behavior that we really want to get more of. Being tolerant of differences of opinion, being tolerant of different lifestyles, but you don't have to accept them and condone them if you do not agree with them. So for me, that is true freedom and human rights in play. Talk to you soon. Ciao.